Dear students, today I would like to teach you Supreme Court. Dear students, you know that we have one Supreme Court and 24 High Courts are there. Today I would like to teach you the power and functions of Supreme Court. Before starting this lesson, I would like to teach you Supreme Court is apex court of India, and who will be the Chief Justice of Supreme Court will be known as CJI. Means that person will be not the only Chief Justice of Supreme Court. That person will be Chief Justice of India, and we have integrated judiciary. It means we have many lower courts, means like district courts, and high courts and Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is apex court in entire judiciary system. In hierarchy, Supreme Court is apex one. Second point that is very important to understand, we have a single set of rules for lower court, Supreme Court, High Court. Are you getting? Means each and every court will sort out the dispute by exercising the same law and enforce the same constitution. Means Supreme Court, High Court are protector of the constitution, custodian of the constitution. So in detail I will teach you line by line, but first of all I would like to teach you power and functions of the Supreme Court. With reference to the power and functions of Supreme Court, first topic I would like to teach you jurisdiction. What do you mean by jurisdiction? Jurisdiction means when judiciary will sort out the dispute, you can write also very slow mode I am telling. When judiciary will sort out the dispute by exercising the law and enforce the law is known as jurisdiction. The Supreme Court is protector of the constitution and final interpreter of the constitution, meaning what explanation will be given by Supreme Court, that is final. So that's why Supreme Court is final interpreter of the constitution. I think my students are very much familiar about jurisdiction. So many Supreme Court, High Courts having many jurisdiction like original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, revisory jurisdiction, advisory jurisdiction, judicial review. So one by one I will teach each and every point. First of all, first topic I would like to teach you original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, and silly changing will be there, then you people will understand the original jurisdiction of the High Court. Together I will teach you. First of all, I am going to teach you original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. When Supreme Court will sort out the dispute by exercising the law and enforce the law at first sight, that is known as original jurisdiction. So that is the definition. If you have to write this question in 3 marks, a 3 marks question, so example must be written. First example will be there: central state or interstate dispute. Suppose any dispute will be there between central government and any state government, or between central government and 2 states one side and one side central government, or 5 states one side and central government will be on one side. That is known as central state dispute. Suppose sometimes this type of dispute will be coming. Suppose UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh one side and Tamil Nadu, Arunachal Pradesh and one more one side, or suppose ki 4-5 states one side and 4-5 will be one side. If that type of dispute will be there, so that dispute will be sorted out only by Supreme Court. I think first example, I think my students are very much familiar now. So that is first one. Second one, protection of the fundamental rights. I think you know, I have taught you, if violation of the fundamental rights will be there, any person of India can approach directly to Supreme Court or High Court. And there are two articles that is very necessary to mention here. First one, Article 32. All of you are very much familiar. Article 32 means, according to Article 32, if violation of the fundamental rights will be there, so anybody can approach directly to Supreme Court. Second article is there, Article 2 to 6, person can approach directly to High Court. And High Court and Supreme Court, both court will protect the fundamental rights of each and every individual by issuing the writ. And I think I have taught you many writs are there: habeas corpus, mandamus, quo warranto, so and so. I'll teach all writs, don't worry. Here, so second example, protection of the fundamental rights means High Court and Supreme Court both are protector of the fundamental rights of each and every individual. And next example that you can write, interpretation of the Constitution. What do you mean by this one? Ki all cases where interpretation of the Constitution is required can be directly filed in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has a power to exclusive jurisdiction in regard to question as a constitutional validity of the central law. Means Supreme Court is a final interpreter of the Constitution. Why only three example I have mentioned? Because when I teach you original jurisdiction of the High Court, so two will be common one. Means protection of the fundamental rights will be common, and interpretation of the Constitution will be common. Two example you can write. So, and one more you can write, that transfer of cases from lower court to Supreme Court. I think you know under Article 139 by 44th Amendment Act 78, Supreme Court may transfer to itself case from one or more High Court if these involve question of law or cases are great importance. The Supreme Court can transfer case from the High Court to another in the interest of justice. So these are four important points. So this one, original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court I have taught. Now silly changing will be there, then you people will understand. Original jurisdiction of High Court, definition will be same. What will be the definition? Original jurisdiction of the High Court. When High Court in place, where I have to told you Supreme Court, you write when High Court will sort out the dispute by exercising the law and enforce the law at first sight. That is known as original jurisdiction of the High Court. So jurisdiction and original jurisdiction, again I am going to tell you how to answer this. Original, suppose jurisdiction will be there, so you can write when judiciary will sort out the dispute by exercising the law and enforce the law is known as jurisdiction. You have to add at first sight, that will be known as original jurisdiction. So Supreme Court one I have taught you, when judiciary will sort out, when Supreme Court will sort out the dispute by exercising the law and enforce the law at first sight is known as original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Four example I have given. First one I have taught you, central state dispute or interstate dispute. Second one, violation of the fundamental rights. And third one I have taught you, interpretation of the Constitution. And fourth one, transfer of the cases. There's one four example I have given. And now I am going to teach you original jurisdiction of the High Court. Definition will be same. When High Court will sort out the dispute by exercising the law and enforce the law at first sight, that is known as original jurisdiction of the High Court. Here what changing will be there? Two example will be common, and one only you have one point I'll add this one. So what are the example? That is very important. First one, you write this one, original jurisdiction of the High Court. Yes, original jurisdiction of the High Court, matter related to the revenue or revenue collection. Cases regarding to will means, I think you know, like suppose your man sir and want to give you my property, so I can write one will, and when I'll die, you will be my owner of my property. That will, I think you know. And divorce, marriage, company law, and contempt of court. So these points are very very important. You should understand this one. So that is point number one. Second point, High Court is also protector of the fundamental rights. Means if your fundamental rights will be violated, you can approach directly to High Court also. Okay, and High Court will also empower to issue the writ. And third point, you can write High Court will interpret the Constitution. So three example easily you can write. I think you are clear now. So original jurisdiction of the High Court and Supreme Court both have taught you. In my next video, I'll teach other jurisdiction. Thank you.